David Manson is in charge of this round 17 clash. With Manly running into the breeze, it is coming across the ground more so than down the ground. But what opposition there is into Manly's face in the first half. Kosef was in front of the kicker when they started, but Manson allowed that to go. And Newcastle with first use of the football. 15 metres away from their own line, Adam Muir was. And there's a punch-up! Carroll and Harrigan! It was predicted! And they came from everywhere. Well, Carroll and Harrigan, they've set two in the first exchanges.
And the little right still being thrown, even though Paul Harrigan is on the ground. He went through as a decoy runner. Robbie McCormack almost guilty of an obstruction, a shepherd. And the Chief, the eyes are wide open. Manson getting in between the players. He's really keen to go on with it, the Newcastle captain.
Well, the New South Wales and Australian teammates there, they haven't let anything hold back, have they? Chief's still going on. He's a few York kittens in there to the referee, to someone.
It'll be very interesting to see which way the penalty goes here. Newcastle with the football. It will be an ordinary start if they give away a penalty in front of their post when they've had possession, and they're still talking out there. Referee will be tempted to put these blokes in the bin just to settle the occasion down. I hope that's not the case. We want 13 on 13 out there for as long as possible. I've got a feeling that the next tackle will have a fair bit of venom in it as well.
Well, the pundits were writing about it. They suggested that they were great buddies off the field, but there's no love lost on the field. And that's what happened. Harrigan ran the decoy. Carroll took him out with a shoulder.
And Carroll did throw the first punch. So by looking at that, you'd think that Newcastle would get a penalty in their own quarter, and all the rest of the boys just joined in for a bit of fun. And no damage done.
Well, if the right report has come in, there's no doubt it has to go to Newcastle. The shoulder charge was put on by Carroll. Harrigan objected to it. As Paul pointed out, the first punch was thrown by the Manly player, and that will be the one that should be penalised.
Look at them, they're still going. They're still going at each other.
So Harrigan is the first to go. 10 minutes in the sin bin for the Newcastle captain.
He'll have company.
Referee Manson said to Harrigan, go away, have a rest and think about the game. And Carroll's been put in the blood bin. Well, the crowd, you can imagine how they feel. Manson must be the bravest man in Newcastle.
I wonder which way the penalty will go now. It's a stroke of luck for the Manly side with Carroll heading to the blood bin and Harrigan off for 10 minutes. I think Harrigan did get the 10 minutes for continually mouthing off, having a chat to Carroll.
Well, if it's only a blood bin for Mark Carroll, then you would think that Manly will get the penalty here and have an opportunity to put the first points on board. Pretty easy kick. Of course, no Matthew Ridge in the lineup tonight, which will hurt them in some areas.
Manly's got the penalty, I'm told. Yes, they have. Almost in front of the uprights, and the crowd shows their disapproval. 3 minutes gone in the game, and we've had nothing. Well, we had a blue. But...
Yeah, but if you go back to the original incident, I just don't know how Manly could have got the penalty.
Yeah. We also had a debate.
And obviously, Manly have won the debate.
Yeah, this is the wrong decision.
Here's the incident, and there's Carroll with the whooshka, and then Carroll actually threw the first punch as well. But they've got the first penalty, and the luck's gone their way, the Eagles.
You sound terribly distressed by that. Terribly upset by it. Look at that sea of faces behind the uprights. That is consistent with the entire stadium here tonight. They are absolutely jam-packed. and they did not get the start that most of them wanted. Shannon Nevin in the boots of Matthew Ridge strikes it. He comes from the Ridge School, apparently. All the confidence in the world. And Manly lead 2-0 after 4 minutes.
And in all that, when Carroll went to the bench, Solomon Hamono is the man who has come on to replace Carroll. So let's hope now the game does settle down.
Darren Tracy takes it ahead. The Johns brothers put it together. That is Grogan. He started tentatively against Brisbane. He finished magnificently. Muir now puts his hand up to take the place of Harrigan.
And he's got...
High tackle gives a penalty.
Yeah, Desi Hasler, the man. A characteristic tackle there by Hasler. He's a ball-and-all defender. And he reaches up. It is around the neck. No harm done, but the referee has deemed a penalty, and it looks like Andrew Johns will have a shot for goal from about 28 metres out, right in front of the sticks.
Friday Night Rugby League on the Nine Network around Australia, and a sensational start to the game. In the second tackle, Mark Carroll and Paul Harrigan came together. Carroll's returning from the bloodbed. Pomano comes off. Harrigan is still in the sin bin. The trainers were just sent off by David Manson. He told them to get out of it. Come on for a real purpose, I guess, was the message.
It was a posse of them just quietly. There's about half a dozen of them on there.
Andrew Johns, this magnificent young player. He went past his personal best for the year, a club record in last weekend's game. He's second over 7. 8.5 minutes of the match gone, and Andrew Johns has got it. That's the leveller. 2 points all in front of a massive crowd of Newcastle. Carroll goes storming ahead.
Gee, that's a good tackle by Marquette. One-on-one on the big man. Brought him down beautifully.
Gillespie now. Hasler now coming across to the left for Kosseff, and Kosseff tries to step between Chris Joint and Andrew Johns. And Hasler keeps up this wrap over to the left, and Carroll was there. His work rate this year has been quite incredible. Hasler now. Tuvey is with him. Goes round the back of Kosseff. Picks up Lyons. Lyons out for Hill. Hill going towards the corner. Runs into the defence. Nevin is there. Lyons puts a little kick in. Came off one Newcastle player. Came down to Manly. And that is a try. He's going to give it. I think it's Jeff Tuvey. Tuvey gets the try.
Well, Luck's a fortune, and the kicking game again coming to the fore. We saw it during the Test series, how successful the kick was, especially from rebounds. Lions kicking back to the blind side, straight into the chest of one of the Newcastle players. Robbie Ross was already going the other way. Jeff Tuvey got control of the football, wasn't held, had every right to put the ball over the line. And a bit of luck there for the Manly side. Ball coming off Darren Tracy.
Oh, bad luck for Robbie Ross. He nearly had that ball covered, but it bounced away from him in the end, straight the arms of Tubes. And over went the mighty mite from Manly to score their first try as Harrigan runs back onto the field. But is it a little bit too late for him?
He's got plenty to make up for now, Paul Harrigan. He could have held on for another 30 seconds. His conscience would have been a little bit clearer. He knows that he's let his side down.
So Shannon Nevin with his second kick of the night. He raised the flags with the penalty at the time that Harrigan was put in the sin bin. And now the conversion of the try scored by his captain Jeff Tuvey. 6 points to 2 becomes 8 points to 2. Manly in front over Newcastle. 13th minute of the first half. Gillespie taken, touch high, just beyond the 40-metre line. Cunningham met and pulled down by, again, Paul Marquette. Manly trying to outnumber Newcastle on the blind side. Kosef. Harrigan still out there, but every opportunity he grabs at his right hip, and here's Lyons getting the pass inside, but it's a penalty to Manly. It's for holding.
Yeah, he's got Robbie McCormack as a Manly made a breakthrough. Clippy Lyons, and he's got McCormack for holding the Manly player before he received the football.
What about Steve Menzies? He got poleaxed as well. He was the outside support player for Cliff Lyons. Lyons ends up throwing the dummy, but just keep an eye on Menzies out wide. He runs into a brick wall. The gap opens up. Harrigan is there, fortunately, on the inside, and Robbie McCormack comes up with the tackle that is ruled illegal by the referee. Touch and go, I thought.
The replacement player for Newcastle, jersey number 28, Billy Peden.
So Bill Peden will go on. Paul Harrigan is to come off.
Yeah, it was an interesting run when he actually took the football up Harrigan. Here it is. You watch him pull up short before he gets to the line. There he goes. Well, his knee buckles under him. And could be something serious.
I just wonder whether it's higher up, Paul. I watched him the next couple of tackles. He kept feeling up around the thigh area. I thought he must have caught something around the hip. Could be. Might be his leg somewhere, huh?
So Manly leading 8 points to 2. Another penalty attempt for Nevin. 32 metres out, directly in front, and he's just offline. Not able to make it go dead, and Herman comes back to the 10-metre line. This is Peden. He won't let them down. He's been in fine form. Muir. Muir looks at the referee as if to say, when are you going to give us a penalty? Now Manly gets the penalty. Push and shove between Carroll and McCormack.
The Newcastle player ruled to have not got up to play the football. In his effort to get a quick play of the ball. And see Darren Tracy wasn't really allowed to his feet. Missing his last attempt, he would back Nevin in to make this one. Extend the lead to 10 points to 2.
Yeah, I think he said he wasn't really allowed to his feet, but I don't think he made any attempt to get to his feet. And this is something in Newcastle are notorious for, really. There's no one holding him down. Carroll's getting off, and I don't think he even tried to get up. So I think Manson's made the correct decision.
Yeah, he might have been milking a penalty, and it's gone against him. The one thing that Newcastle will get in trouble by is overreading Cliff Lyons. We've already seen him throw the dummy and go through once. And they've got to treat him like they're treating the Johns boys. Every time he's got the football in his hands, he's got to end up on the ground, and you don't overread his supports. The only man dangerous in this game is the person with the football in his hands, and Lyon is the most dangerous.
Nevin then. And this time the flags are up. So 2 more points to Manly. They lead by 10 points to 2. Inside the 30-metre line, Hasler. Cunningham. Straight and hard. 30 minutes gone. 10-2 Manly. Tuvi. Peden in 28 around the legs. To the right they go. Lyons is with it. Now Hill on for Hancock, and there's the try. Hancock scores for Manly, their second of the night.
And a very simple try it was, with Manly just doing what they do best, taking advantage of the numbers. They go wide. Newcastle have tried to slide all night, and they've done it well. But as we freeze play here, You can see that's Jamie Ainscough. That's his winger, Herman. There's plenty of support out here. Now, Jamie Ainscough, this man, can't get across in time to cover that pass. Tony Herman comes in off his wing. He should have stayed out. And Hancock takes advantage of it. So just the one simple miss or lapse in defence out wide from the winger.
Yeah, Herman should give himself a couple for that one. He didn't have to come in. He had Hancock marked all the way. Ainscough had Hill covered. And by simply coming in, he's cost his side 4 points, possibly 6.
Craig Hancock scores his 48th career try. He tasted Origin football this year. Terry Hill has got a bit of a problem.
There's another good example of the option on the last tackle to run the football. In fact, both of Manly's tries have come on the last. The first from the deflected kick. That one prepared to throw the ball wide. At times, sides do relax a little bit late in the tackle count. They know they've done a good job for the first 4 and 5. Almost expecting to get the ball back on the 6th. Manly have hurt them. Nevin trying to hurt them even further here with a very difficult conversion.
But that's how difficult it is. Almost on the sideline. 20 metres out. Shannon Nevin, and it's not coming around as he would like. So no addition to the scoreboard. 14-2 Manly. Craig Hancock scoring the try down a corridor that was presented to him by Tony Herman. It came off that left wing and Hancock scores on the right. And the Knights now in real bother. Terry Hill upended inside his own 10-metre line. Cunningham underneath this tackle. Gillespie comes off. Cunningham has been very strong for Manly tonight. He always is, of course.
Well, he made a good searching run there before that try was scored. He got them 15 metres just by running hard and straight.
27 for Manly. Daniel Gartner is the replacement. Cunningham and up for Gillespie. Another very good young player from the Manly club. Abundance of talented back rowers.
Always have had, Pete.
There's Lyons and Shannon Nevin in an exchange of keep the ball away from the opposition as Grogan offloads the ball for Ross. And Robbie Ross is almost on the halfway line. Andrew Johns across for Nathan Barnes, but he ran into 4 Manly jumpers and then is knocked on by McCormack.
Yeah,
well, he's ruled that it's been touched by Manly.
Dead set knock on that Manson's missed.
Andrew Johns.
They don't seem to have any pattern of play tonight, Newcastle. They're just virtually running around the park looking for something to happen for them, and they're not working to any particular part of the field.
Joint. "12 metres out from the line, Peden. Andrew Johns. Matthew Johns. Ainscough ran the decoy. Herman! Almost slicing through. Desperate stuff by Tuvey and Kosef. Matthew Johns rolls it in. It's off the upright. They're bound to score. They're going to score. They do. They score, Newcastle. Nathan Barnes gets the 4-pointer.
We saw Manly score a try through a deflection from a kick, and here's another. There's a bit of drama after the try was scored. Moore and Barnes having a tete-a-tete. And Newcastle get their first try with the ball coming off the goal post. You make your own luck in this game. And here we go. Nice little kick there. Bangarang off the pace. Well picked up by Johns, and he saw there's plenty of space out wide, and Barnes just had to slide over.
Yeah, I actually think Andrew Johns was offside. Matthew Johns kicked it, and I think that it is a good tactic to kick at the post. So I don't know if he was aiming for it, but it always causes problems if you can get some sort of deflection. Nathan Barnes got that. A bit of a problem with Danny Moore afterwards. But if Manly had been the next point scorer, I think the game was gone. So all of a sudden the Knights are well and truly back into this, especially if Andrew Johns can turn the 4 points into 6.
And of course, Pete, if you go back back 4 or 5 tackles when I really do feel that Newcastle locked the ball on.
No doubt. Robbie McCormack. Let's just have a look at where Andrew Johns is in relation to the kicker.
No, he's sweet.
He's on.
Yeah.
Sweet as.
I'm going to blame the angle, but they have such a great understanding.
Blame your eyesight, personally.
You have got an awful angle. You're sitting at about 150 feet on the halfway mark. There's a bloke sitting out of the bleachers here at the end of the ground in the trotting track. How about his angle?
Thanks for your support. Rock solid.
Talk about trenches. So here's Andrew Johns trying to convert the Nathan Barnes try, and he has. 20 metres out and 10 in. The blue and red army, they're smiling at last.
How many times have we seen this happen throughout this season? The Johns brothers combining, this time with the kicking game, and Nathan Barnes benefiting. So important, that conversion as well. 14-8 now brings them to within a converted try. And they need to score once. Join Manly. And not long to go in this first half, 4 minutes.
Nevin restarts. That was the surname of a very good footballer from many moons ago, by the name of Bernie Nevin. I think he played for Newcastle or Balmain. As McCormack gets it outside the 20-metre line. Herman. They're good yards in this situation. Newcastle winning reserve grade here tonight. And here's a knock on. Tracy has been in superb form, but both he and Muir have been a little bit unsteady in this match so far tonight. And with Harrigan out of the action, they need both Muir and Tracy playing well. In fact, it's the Englishman who's probably led the way for Newcastle in the forwards. And here's Toby! He's away! They won't get him! Toby! His second try!
And they did not get any more simple than that from Jeff Tuvey. An enormous blunder around the scrum base to try and work out what happened. Matthew Johns was very wide. Normally that would be the lock forwards tackle. As we freeze play here, you can see that they've screwed the scrum. Matthew Johns very wide, and the gap appears for Jeff Tuvey. Straight through the middle. Too much ground for the lock forward to make up there.
Yeah, well, let's just watch them screw the scrum here, Manly. And Tracy went the wrong side. And Muir didn't have the pace to put it with Tuvey. Tracy, even though the scrum was screwing, should have sort of hung on, broken, and gone left. So he not only dropped the ball, you could put it down to his error. It might sound a bit harsh, but someone's got to tackle Jeff Tuvey.
Let's go back seconds earlier as well with Tracy throwing that, losing possession in the tackle. Very poor ball security.
Look at that eye of Mark Carroll's. It's been open now for how long? It must be about a month old. The eye, of course, is green almost. As Nevin converts Tuvey's second try. And now the comfort zone widens. 20 points to 8. We're nearly on half-time. This is what happens. A little bit of hesitation from the number 11, Adam Muir. So the siren in the background, and that brings to a halt the first half. 20 points to 8. And a lot of work for Newcastle to do in the second half. Just as they seem to get it back together with the try of Nathan Barnes, Tuvey scored at the 38th minute. So Manly 20, Newcastle 8. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Are you ready to fly?
We have liftoff.
to build something better, meaner, wilder. Let's get ready to rumble!
Would you be interested in having an affair?
Straight into football cyclone! I don't believe it! The greatest show on earth. How good is this? This is the greatest show on earth.
There's more to a career in the Australian Defence Force than you might think. You can gain professional, trade and tertiary qualifications, have different jobs in the one career and access training for new roles. Take a closer look at how we invest in your career.
Want to get closer to the magic of the FIFA Women's World Cup? Grab your chance to win a seat at the final. Buy and scan specially marked Coca-Cola products to win match tickets or Coca-Cola merchandise instantly every day.
Here's to the doers who are innovating and smashing stereotypes. And the doers who help keep this country running. The doers owning the weekend. And the doers who never take the morning off. We've been powering the doers for over 25 years. Gear Wrench. Forge ahead.
Julio bought cheap car insurance with cheap accident repair. Don't risk bargain regret. Next time join the A-Team, hey Julio. Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does.
Juicy 100% Aussie chicken in a fiery, crispy, chili-loaded coating, but with creamy mayo, fresh tomato and cheese. The McSpicy Deluxe looks like hot, just got fancy.
Excellent looking shot.
Get a read on how to bust your bills. Buy the paper before February 19 and find the code word for your chance to win a share of $50,000. Plus, over 200 cash prizes to be won nationally. Go to winwithnews.com.au.
Find peace and quiet. A moment to yourself. Feel your flow.
Are you okay?
Yeah. No distractions, just nature. Be mindful of the wild. The new season of Life Below Zero Canada starts Saturday 8:40 on BBC Earth.
Welcome back to Newcastle, to Marathon Stadium, in front of this tremendous audience. Manly are leading over Newcastle, 20 points to 8 as we resume the second half. And the good news for Newcastle is that their captain Paul Harrigan is back from the injury tables, and Bill Peden has been replaced. Manly, though, with this comfortable margin of 20 points to 8, and with the slight advantage of the breeze in the second half. 27 for Manly is Daniel Gartner. He came on in the latter part of the first half. He is still there as Lyons puts this kick down to Robbie Ross. Now he's played at the ball so everybody can come inside the 10. And Ross is brought down just beyond his 20-metre line. Herman put it down 10 metres further down the ground. Opening seconds of the second half.
And good news for Newcastle that Harrigan is back on, because in that first half they really lacked some go forward through the big men. This man Adam Muir hit the ball up 11 times. The nearest to him was Chris Joint with 5, so they need Harrigan to get heavily involved.
The Johns brothers putting it together. Even they appeared to lose some cohesion and some understanding in the first half. As Matthew Johns now keeps it low and gets a big bounce. But Nevin is underneath it and starts his run back outside the 20-metre line. And then he's barreled back by the Newcastle defence. Barnes and Harrigan. So what were you able to find out at half-time, Stephen Roach?
Yeah, well, in the Newcastle room, Malcolm really just had his players and himself in there. He was trying to say to his players that they were better than what they performed in the first half. He said, look, expect this in the come semi-final time. He wants a much improved second half. The Chief Harrigan has had a needle and he's back for Manly. Bob Fulton's only worry is must put these blokes on the ground. Don't give them a sniff and try and keep driving him back in the fence.
Well, Steve, of course, we know that Newcastle are much better than they've shown tonight, but then again, sometimes you can only play as well as your opposition lets you.
Yeah, that's certainly right, Ray. I mean, this Manly defence is unbelievable. They get off the line so quicker than any side that I've seen.
Well, I'll make the prediction that Paul Harrigan lasts about 5 minutes out there, needle or no needle. He is struggling now as Tony Herman makes a good charge, 42 out from his line. Here's the Chief coming. He's carrying that hit very noticeably. He's gone.
This is Chris Joynt. Turn it back through Barnes and then through McCormack and back with Andrew Johns. He's into open space. Inside, backing him up is Robbie Ross. 20 metres out, centre of the ground, and a big back line out to the left. Matthew Johns, there goes Marquette. Marquette, he's over. He's over. It's a try, I believe. Yes, he's given it.
Well, is there a touch of controversy about this try? Marquette, did he bounce the ball? Double movement. What's the double movement, I mean? Well, it's great work by the Johns boys here. Here's the first break made by Andrew. Away he goes. In the end, a great covering tackle by Danny Moore. Gets Robbie Ross. Now from here, there wasn't much space. They had man-on-man mainly, but a nice piece of deception by Matthew Johns it is. Drifting across the park, looking for runners. And not that well read there. And mark it into a huge gap. There's the tackle, but he's let go.
You see Terry Hill backing out of the play there. They just had numbers, and the pass committed the defender. Tuvey got caught in two minds. That put Terry Hill out. I think it's okay. I think the first tackler let go. The momentum saw Marquette bounce to the line. And that's not a double movement.
I'll leave it to you, Raps.
I think it's sweet. I think it's absolutely a fair try. Anyway, I defy a human being as a referee or even as a touch judge to split it down without the aid of video. Look at this kick from the sideline almost. 4 becomes 6 and 20 points to 14.
Successful conversion to number 7, Andrew Johns.
Quite a bit of discussion over the try given by David Manson for Paul Marquette. Chris Joynt, 15 metres away from his own line. Newcastle bring it away. This is how it looked from another camera. The tacklers, the first tackler loses the attacker. The second dives on him, and in fact, in doing so, forces the ball underneath Paul Marquette. Newcastle with it, 6 behind. Andrew Johns has handled twice. Grogan now. The enemies for Newcastle now will be to start playing as though their lives depend on it, and pushing passes unnecessary. They're only 6 behind, and there's a mile of time. Craig Hancock pulled down by Robbie Ross.
Well, as so often happens, sometimes half-time is the worst thing that can happen to a football team, and for Manly that may be the case. They had their tails in the air, leading by 12. It's been an awful start for them second half. Now in a soft try, high tackle there goes unchecked from Harrigan. Now, got a little bit of a sniff of victory here, the Knights. They know that they just have to come up with a better performance, and they're well in this game.
Romano. Hansler with a little dummy, tries to catch the markers. Half succeeds in doing so. 5 tackles gone on the halfway line as they go over for Lyons and across the line. And here's big Danny Moore stretching out inside the 30. Lyons, he'll puts it down. Well, Manly have done a couple of things that have belied what we've seen for the main part of the game. They've made it look so easy. Just a little hint of a forward pass here. Watch it again.
No problems with that pass. I think it's okay. Somebody's got to switch this Newcastle side on for the full 6 tackles. That's another try on the last. They're waiting to get the football back. The dummy there, Grogan roping and reaching, can't control lines. And Cliffy, a piece of magic here. He starts it and he finishes it. But they just lose concentration late in the tackle count, the Knights.
Yeah, that pass there's the one I had a couple of question marks over. And someone should have tackled Cliffy there, but they all missed him. And the old veteran, the master, look at him go. 34 years of age, playing as well as anyone in this competition today.
To announce tonight that we have a brand new record crowd here at Miracle Stadium.
Well, that's quite incredible.
The first time, you can't fool me when I read
it's been so tight, so heavy out there, and then tries like the one scored by Hancock, Tuvi's second try, and that one just indicate the ease with which Manly appear to be able to score tries when they so desire. Listen to the ground announcer telling the fans here that this is a new ground record crowd. 32,642. I thought they said they weren't going to let any more in anymore. They've broken the ground record. So the game in this city is very healthy. Nevin. There it goes. And just down the side of the upright. 24 points to 14. 10 points in it. The try again. It's the final pass that Paul and I, that pass that Paul and I have got the question mark on. Carroll comes storming back. Cunningham. Lyons coming off the open side, working on the blind side with Craig Hancock. Hancock put away by the left centre in defence. Ainscough. Gillespie. Andrew Johns working hard in defence. Menzies. Seldom does a game go by that he doesn't cross the line. 14 for the year. Hasler gets a kick in. There was nobody back deep. Herman can't handle it. That's off him.
Great work, Desi Hasler. He's another veteran. He's also 34 years of age. Playing hooker now. This will be a Manly feed. Puts the grubber in. It's been 5 years since he kicked a football, but he's finally produced one. Put the pressure on Herman, who couldn't handle it.
So another great opportunity for Manly now. 10 points in front. They win the scrum. They go wide. Lyons goes across. They put on a rehearsed play. Nevin in from the back. And now Hopewade. Hopewade scores. Beautiful stuff. Great advertisement for running rugby league.
Well, it doesn't get much better than that. A beautiful planned move. They don't often come off, but when they do, it's a pretty thing to watch. You see Craig Hancock has moved across from his wing, the blind wing. Lyons drifting across. As we freeze play there, you see the decoy runners from Manly put the defence in 2 minds. The cutout pass is the important one. Craig Hancock plays a big role here because they expect him to get the football. Nathan Barnes, his man gets outside him, Nevin. The tackle forced to be made by the winger, and that means Hopewade has a clear run to the line. Beautiful execution, players in motion. The cutout pass across Hancock created the try.
Oh, the great Bonzo, hasn't he produced one there? Coach of the year just for that move, I reckon, Rebs.
Well, that's the
move.
That's the sort of thing people come to see. And of course, I know you fellas work very hard and long at things like that, and of course it's like the icing on the cake, a dream come true when they come off with clockwork precision. John Hopewade on the end of it. As Peter said, bodies in motion. The orchestrator was Cliff Lyons. chose the moment. Everybody knew their part. And then they put it together with precise execution. Beautiful rugby league. Coaches and players would be ecstatic that it came off like it did. We've been talking about veterans out there tonight, and they're all performing well. It reminds me of happy birthday, Fatty, eh? Former Manly veteran.
Yeah, thanks, Fatty.
What are you, 35? Here's Nevin now from the sideline. They haven't given him too many easy ones.
And, of course, that try, you come back to Des Hasler and the kick and chase situation he put on. And that determination by Hasler has seen 4 points a matter of 30 seconds later.
He's played very well the fullback too, Shannon Nevin. Difficult to come into the Manly side so late. Matthew Ridge pulling out today and having the goal-kicking duties.
Oh! Harrigan has gone after Carroll.
He's in some trouble.
He hasn't moved.
Harrigan.
And Carroll's got plenty to say. He's just got to back away, Carroll, and just say nothing.
Well, Harrigan set himself like a missile. And he zeroed in on Mark Carroll. Carroll's blowing up. Harrigan was on his back. Here it is again.
Right. See, that is a hit and a half.
Good game, isn't it?
Unfortunately, the tackler's come off the worst from where
you've got to admire Paul Harrigan's bravery, his courage. You could see it gave Gillespie there.
Yeah. Well, I think the genuinely tough players in the game are the ones that are the quiet ones and who don't have to go and say anything. And to me, Mark Carroll just lost some points there.
Well, the Chief is back on his feet. And so the battle goes on. The personal one and the team battle. I'll tell you what, they've added some memories to this game. This confrontation between Mark Carroll and Paul Harrigan. I think the papers tonight were saying, stay tuned, anything could happen, and probably will. I can't remember who the author was, but I tell you what, he's related obviously to Nostradamus. Nevin's kick. Bouncing down inside the 30-metre line for Grogan.
As Grogan brings it back, it was good to see the majority of the Manly players react as that pass goes out the back to Robbie Ross, puts plenty of pressure on him. The concern from the Manly players was very evident for Paul Harrigan. They got the mouth guard out of his mouth very quickly. Big shot there, this time on Carroll. He throws the swinging right. Starting to lose the plot.
Played by Herman. Now with Johns, and then the other. And now with Muir. Matthew. Back inside from Ross to Andrew. And then for Joint. Plenty of passing, not going anywhere. Tracy on. Ross across. Matthew Johns. Tried to step away from Cliffy Lyons. Pulled down by Menzies. 5 tackles gone. Back for Andrew Johns now. Long and low and finding the line. 8 metres then away from the Manly line. .28 points to 14. Same as the reserve grade score, which went in Newcastle's favour. Tuvey unloads for Lyons and then for Hancock. Tracy is up the top. Matthew Johns underneath. It's Craig Hancock, one of the try scorers, plays it. And Cliffy Lyons comes away. Sideline comment, Steve Roach.
Yeah, I have to agree with Pete. Newcastle do look to me like they have lost the plot. They need a steadying influence out there at the moment. If you remember back when they got flogged by Canberra, the same thing is happening now. And if they get to the semi-final and let this happen again, exactly the same thing will happen.
Andrew Johns has communicated long and hard with his brother. So it won't surprise to see Newcastle go for something similar to what Manly pulled off at the other end of the park. If in fact that was the case, there weren't as many bodies in motion. It was very orthodox, very conventional. Muir. And back and away from McCormack, and then from... Oh! Cliffy! Cliffy's away! Surely they can't catch him! Look at him go! Arms in the air! And Cliffy Lyons scores! Age shall not weary them.
Well, they might catch him, but it'll be at Belmont.
Is he at Belmont? No, there he is.
He had the arms soaring. The Chief Sea Eagle and Chris Joint was a little bit unfortunate here. The quick ball was the go. They'd done well. Muir offloading. The short, quick pass was needed, but Lyons just read it to perfection. Stuck the hand up. He got a 20-metre lead. The legs might be a little bit weary towards the end, but he was celebrating at the 20-metre line, so he knew he was home.
Oh, he's had a game, Cliffy. He's been involved in nearly every one of Manly's tries. Gets his second here. Long way for Cliffy to run at his age, 60 metres, but he gets there. No worry. Yeah.
Somebody stop me.
Smoking.
Well.
Hasn't he got great hands, but like, not just in that intercept, but with the way that he sets his support players up, he puts no pressure on them at all. Throws it at exactly the right time, right onto their chest. And he does it where he's got soft hands, beautiful hands in the game of rugby league, and that time the hands came up with the intercept.
So right in front for young Shannon Nevin. 4 from 8. Didn't realise he'd had that many kicks. He's had a fine game, the youngster. 34-14 now. 58 minutes of Friday Night League. At Marathon Stadium with this ground record crowd in excess of 32,600. Here comes Carroll again. Harrigan goes up the top and Muir underneath. Carroll comes up smoking. The Chief back in the line. Gillespie. Still have a feeling this is going to blow up.
Yeah, if I was the respected coaches, I'd nearly take Mark Carroll and Paul Harrigan off. Here's a break made straight up the middle by Cunningham.
Cunningham with a heap of pace to the halfway and pulled down by Ross. Hassler. Lyons operating up the centre. Scooped away for Menzies. 35 metres out from the Newcastle line. 5 tackles gone. Hassler on for Lyons. Lyons kicks for his outside backs. Danny Moore leads the way, but Grogan's underneath it. Now Barnes. Slithering up the blind side. Danny Moore makes the tackle. Grogan. McCormack. Johns works with Marquette. Now it's Matthew. Ainsko. Flicked. Oh! Herman! Taken out high by Terry Hill, who hung an arm out. It was all happening so fast. Reflex action by Terry Hill.
I'm just wondering if he's going to be sent here. Manson Way's gone. Oh, no!
Well, can you believe it? It's his first game back from suspension as well. Terry Hill, it was reflex. The pass from Ainsko trying to pick up his winger Herman on the inside, and Hill just hung the arm out. He didn't miss him.
Oh, that's a tragedy, honestly, for Terry Hill. Has played a great game tonight. Here it is again.
So the side, and apart from last weekend, they've proven unbeatable.
Yeah, it's hard to be too critical of some of the Newcastle players. Like Adam Muir's had an unhappy game, but it's only because he's tried too hard. As mistake made again by the Knights there. You'd rather have players making mistakes, trying to do something positive, than not getting involved at all.
Once again, to see this mistake here, Newcastle have got 4 men outside Billy Peden up against John Hopewadi. And the ball's just not getting to the right areas as Solomon Momono prepares to come on to replace Nick Kossoff. He's had a great game. 29 tackles, leads the way, and plenty of hit-ups and good work involved for Nick Kossoff tonight.
What's the story on Andrew John, Steve?
Yeah, fractured collarbone, bad news.
Any chance of getting a report on the tackle of Kossoff on Andrew Johns, whether the tackler is on report? Menzies. Gillespie.
With only 6 weeks to the quarterfinals, I would imagine that Andrew Johns will be struggling to be back.
Romano. Tuvi. Back and across the Lions. Inside. Question mark. Hopewadi! Hopewadi! 2 meters from the line. How strong is he? There was a knock on.
He's the most improved winger of the season, John Hopewadi. He's had a great season, culminating, of course, in getting chosen for the New South Wales State of Origin side. Beating tackler here, gets up, goes again, and Muir pulls him down from behind. Desperation stuff by the Knights, and he let go of the football. I think that tackle on Johns, not so much probably the fact that it looked a half-by spear tackle, but the fact that it was late and Johns wasn't in possession of the football might go against Kossoff if he's reported.
Barnes scored one of the Newcastle tries. Matthew Johns. Oh, that pass is a mile forward. Manson should penalise here, but he's not going to.
Just hasn't been their night.
Manson looks like he's carrying his play lunch in the back of his shirt. What's that he's got there? Bike tube. In case he gets a blowout. Offense. No. You know everything else. Lions. At least he's got the yellow shirt. Moore.
That's not bad. Tualuda.
How do you best, Rex?
Nevin. And this ball may have come off a Newcastle player, but Manson doesn't believe so, although John Hopewadi does. John's saying it's my ball.
With 5 minutes to go, I think this victory tonight would just about wrap up minor premiership for Manly if they can continue on their merry way. And that is important. I know that this year is different with 8 teams and it's important to finish on the top 4, but finishing number 1 imposes yourself on the rest of the competition and gives you tremendous confidence.
Menzies out wide, trying to make something out of it. Pass goes to ground. Craig Hancock falls back on it, but Newcastle come up with it. Is there any advantage in finishing number 1, Peter, as in former years?
No, it's not the same. You get a couple of chances if you finish in that top 4, but what I'm saying is the fact that you have proven yourself the best team in the competition is something to take in the semi-finals. As Nathan Barnes finds some gap space up the middle, plenty of cover defence there, and again Nevin comes up with the tackle, aided by Hasler.
Play now 25 metres out from the Manly line. Kamali across for Matthew Johns. That pass was forward to Grogan. Manson calls it up. Well, don't tell me he's going to penalise now. Well, here we were to compliment, this is the break, but We're complimenting Manson for having the intelligence to penalise for blatant forward passes last weekend. 5 seconds ago, he had the most blatant of forward passes and put a scrum down. And now he decides to penalise.
Well, so I think he's had a pretty good game tonight, David Manson. I rate him and Eddie Ward, they're probably the two top referees we've got at the moment in the game. I think he's had a good game. His handle, it's been a fiery encounter. Is there a problem?
just thought that was a news bulletin, a scoop. Manson and Ward are our best two referees.
I do think he got a decision wrong right at the beginning of the game, which has had some effect. If one was to go to the sin bin, there had to be two.
No, I wasn't being overly critical of him, Paul, but if you're gonna start doing it once, you've got to keep doing it. Consistency is what aggravates the fans, or lack thereof, as Tooby loses it. And Ainscough comes up with it, but now he's going to put a scrum down.
I will apologise to David Manson. Just on that sin binning, I do believe that if Paul Harrigan hadn't carried on with it, then they may have remained out there the full complement of 13 players on each side. So it might be the chief who has to put his hand up and say, well, I didn't give him any other decision.
No doubt that's what happened at the start there. They just kept going, and Harrigan kept going more than Carroll did.
Newcastle put together a backline play that involves the left winger coming in to make the extras. He's there now for dummy half work. Herman. Peden. 7 metres into Manly's area. McCormick back and away from Kamali. On for John. A dummy to Tracy. They go out wide for Ainscough. He's been well and truly contained tonight, Jamie Ainscough. Ross gets into a hole, looks for support inside the 20. Somebody's going to tackle him, and they do. Eventually it was Shannon Nevin. Newcastle now with Ainscough chiming in. Barnes, Grogan gets it down. That's a try scored by Brett Grogan, practically on full time.
Well, they show what sort of football they can play, Newcastle. They can make breaks. Robbie Ross here. He looked around for support. All of a sudden, thought I'll have a go myself. Big gap in the middle there. Adam Muir half by Shepherd, but away he went. Shannon Nevin, the man who pulls him down. How many tries has he saved tonight? Shannon Nevin. And from here, they always have the numbers out wide, Newcastle. And Grogan sneaks over in the corner. Good ball from Barnes.
He's got very good hands, Nathan Barnes. And he does come at speed, and that helped in the try. Had to take a pretty difficult pass over his head from Ainscough. He did well, attracted a couple of defenders. The in and out from Grogan. Hopewadi couldn't get towards him, and Jeff Tuvey a little bit too late on the scene. 5 tries for the season for Brett Grogan. This one too little too late. 34-18 with the kick to come.
So Brett Grogan, the try scorer. But this match now with only a matter of seconds remaining on the clock. And Matthew Johns attempting conversion from a wide angle. It is unsuccessful. And the siren in the background. The match is over. The match that everybody was talking about. A match that attracted a ground record crowd. And Manly have given Newcastle a lesson in many ways. 34 points to 18. They finished the match with 12 men. Cherry Hill was sent off for a high tackle on Tony Herman. A game that had everything at Marathon Stadium tonight.